rise C9 to the second place seed. And they will do battle with TSM one final time today to determine who will be in the finals.
And what a series this has been. Exciting from start until now.
And Bjergsen, he called it before the series started. He's saying he thinks this is going to be the closest series yet. It has been so back and forth. No game has been dominated by either side, and it is really up in the air. Game 5, semifinals. Couldn't ask for more than this.
All right, now let's focus in. Remember what happened last game in the start. They subbed him in. Grig immediately went for a red invade, something he had not tried against Blabber. Then he immediately also ganked mid lane and killed Golden Glue. So TSM tried to put pressure onto the two guys that were immediately subbed in. However, Cloud9 weathered the storm. They were able to push it to this Game 5. And they will be expecting a little bit more aggression now.
Gonna go for that ward. Golden Glue around the wings. No stun to be had. All right. No aggressive wards coming out of TSM on that one. Just the one for Svenskar, and he's going to be heading towards the bottom side. He'll be leashed by his dual lane on his red buff. It's going to be a red leash for Grig as well. He'll be getting help from Hanser's Ornn.
And this is really taking me back to the 2017 Spring Finals. This was actually C9 TSM. It was Smoothie back then for C9 who brought out the Gragas support pocket pick. And that was actually what pushed it to a Game 5 for them. So it's pretty cool to see this come full circle. It's a Game 5. It's now TSM bringing out that support Gragas.
Looking to push Cloud9 out of the playoffs and themselves into finals. Be the first team there, awaiting someone in open.
And of course, we'll see the loser in the regional qualifier as well as the third place match. They're both heading to Northern California. But you'd rather come in as victors than losers.
So one question already has been answered for me about this Gragas. It is a Spell Thief's Gragas. I have seen some varying builds. Some have been actually fairly heavy on kind of tanky AP style of builds. The Qmax in lane is actually pretty good for harass as, oh, actually connected that stun. That is a huge trade.
Yep.
Gets big reaction from the audience, tags him on the end of this wall. And Licorice is saying, yeah, you can take my Ornn, but not going to be able to have the same effect as me.
Licorice has been a insanely dominant laner in North America, and now not playing quite so weak a laner as Ornn, having a little bit better time of it as we look in the bottom side, and so far nothing too aggressive happening just yet, as Bjergsen and Golden Glue also trade blows. Health bar staying high.
Statistically, he's been the best laner in the NALCS. You know, top lane was up around 7 CSD at 15, I do believe. Really, really impressive stats.
Right now we've got Grig trailing Svenskar on the invade though. Sees him on the Krugs and there will be a collapse. Hanser heads over.
Hanser's gonna be here. Grig as well. They find the first bit of damage here. Could there be more of a knockup? They're gonna find that first stun. Even more damage coming across, but now a tackle in. Can they burn down the Ornn? Hanser flashes over, stays alive. Been a look at the mid lane. Golden Glue's getting burned down. Good damage out of Bjergsen, getting the better of that trade.
Yeah, even though Cloud9 win the trade on the top side.
Fight goes to Grig again. But look how low Hanser is.
Oh, they're gonna dive.
Look how much damage they've dealt to him.
Red buff
Licorice
burn.
have the tackle.
Red buff burn is still on Grig.
They can put some damage in the flash forward. They're gonna knock down Svenskar. First blood is traded back by Licorice. Will be stunned and hit, and he might just go down. One more hit will do him in. The W comes up. It's kited away. The Q's in 2 seconds. It's up in 1. He's gonna find the tackle and grab the kill. 2-1 TSM.
Because Svenskar auto-attacked Grig first, the red buff was still on him. When he got into tower range, the turret shot immediately went onto Svenskar, and they lose out on the first blood bonus.
Such a risky play there for C9. They decide to make the call here. Hanser very low. They want to go for the dive.
Yeah, look how much work Licorice does, chipping Hanser down under the turret here. Then he calls Svenskar, he heads on over. One more hammer shock. These auto attacks apply the red buff. So there you go. First tower shot comes in so early, and that's what gives up the first blood bonus there. Then allows Grig here follow up with number 2. Even though Licorice sidesteps this W.
Yeah, I mean, it was a small thing, but ends up being a pretty big mistake. You know, not thinking about the red buff being on Grig, he was really focused on the fact that he had not yet hit the tank, had not yet hit Hanser. And it is 2 kills going over the way of TSM, but they do at least trade one back. Gold is still fairly even. And one thing going for Licorice is that the wave was under Hauntzer's turret, so he was missing out on some of that gold and experience.
Licorice will still look good individually here as far as gold's concerned. And OK and XP as well. Now finding a nice body slam. That is what that pick was supposed to do, and it looks pretty nice there. Now finding a fight in the top side. It's going to be collapsing down on Svenskeren. He could be killed right away. Assault's not going to be enough as TSM find their 3rd kill.
Bjergsen's Aurelia has been a problem for many teams throughout the last half of the split. Now he's got a kill for himself as well. And once again, a Sejuani Aurelia pairing works so well. So much CC he can bring to the table.
Golden Glue have to walk through this, take another stun, take a lot of damage, and they're going to go right under the turret. TSM look for number 4.
Cancel the auto.
Bjergsen has to flash away. They don't get it.
He checked himself, didn't want to commit fully under the turret. He does get out alive, but has to blow his flash.
He can ult!
Oh, but he has no flash to reach the target.
Oh.
Grig's going to stay alive through Malefic Visions.
The ult range is pretty long. He was very close to actually being in range of Bjergsen to ult and get that solo kill. Would have been
Licorice is
huge.
sick. This could be a kill on the Haunter. He's got no way out if he lands the point blank gold for the 2nd Q. This could be the damage. When's the tackle coming up? It's still 2 seconds away. And he's not going to go for it. Doesn't quite have the damage to kill off Haunter.
Svenskeren is here, though. The junglers have been attracted to the top
Spotted.
lane fight.
Smites for a help, an easy pickup for Svenskeren, gets rid of the rest of these Krugs, and now level 6 on Ornn. Meanwhile, Mithy's gonna get found out for a stun into root, into burst damage, and the bot lane is alive for Cloud9, looking for a bit more on his Sven.
What an aggressive play there from Zeyzal, jumping straight out of the bush, flash ignite. He couldn't even get the Aftershock proc up there, so he just goes straight down. They're looking to threaten to dive again. This would be risky, but
Pulls aggro.
we'll see if Licorice can go for it.
Yeah.
Health bars are too high. I don't
Hard to damage the turret too there as Graves because your shotgun is going to spread out, and the 2 tanks can take one of those hits just to send the tower aggro over. They still should be able to push in the minion wave though and get a little bit of tempo.
And look at Mithy. He's actually already swapping up to the top side, so not sure if he's trying to catch them off guard here with this. Will be spotted likely on the ward, but no, actually skirts it, so they don't know he's up here. And it is so critical, actually. You know, it may look funny that Zeyzal actually flashed out of the brush to do that stun, but doing that stops Mithy from being able to actually proc his Aftershock or pop his W for the damage reduction, because when you are AP Gragas, so much of your tankiness is actually in that rune and in your W, and if you don't get that off first, you are paper.
And paper gets burned down, but the power of the sun focused heavily onto it. That was a bit ham-fisted, sorry. Either way, it's going to be a blue buff now started up for TSM. Bjergsen's going to grab that one without much issue. As long as he plays around the red buff of Grig, he's going to be just fine. Off he goes. Gold tied, no Drakes, no turrets. Farm has equalized that 1 kill lead.
Once again, though, a lot of the early gold that Bjergsen earns is put into the Malzahar tax, buys the QSS. First item here, all he else he has is a ruby crystal to his name. And trying to look forward to not dying to Malzahar ult coming through in the mid lane.
It's a good thing to look forward to.
I look forward to it every time Malzahar ults me. Clean that ult right off, walk away.
And ooh, a nice little knock up there as Haunter gets the better side of one of these trades. The farm lead, though, still 18 for Licorice's favor.
Yeah, really big, honestly. And you are kind of seeing a bit of a difference in the lane strength of these 2 players. Licorice playing the Ornn in all his matchups had been able to hold fairly even. This time against the Ornn, yes, with some jungle pressure on both sides, is kind of getting the better of Haunter, at least so far.
And this is a super interesting matchup, right? We have had Haunter, who always used to be the best North American top laner for native players. Now Licorice, new guy onto the scene, explodes onto Cloud9 in spring, earns Rookie of the Split in his debut, and this split in the running for MVP. Absolutely great performance from him.
Right now, the Ocean Drake going to be going over to TSM without much of an issue. No one's going to stop Grig, as the bot lane is holding equal. Actually, Svenskeren now heading down, but didn't do enough in time. 2,000 health left in this Drake, and Aurelia's right behind them. Bjergsen could show up for this one, but so can the rest of the team. This is going to be the fight. They're going to look for the stun on the Golden Glue. He jukes away from it, and Svenskeren picks up the Drake, and the re-engage now comes in, looking to burn down Sejuani, but Grig is too tanky. Golden Glue will fall. TSM pick up that kill as a result of that steal.
Yeah, they just decided to make the call to give up on Golden Glue there. The rest of C9 not wanting to fight forward into that and potentially give up even more. I think that's the right call if you can't burst down Sven on this Swain, it's going to be so hard to actually win that fight. So it's a kill for a Dragon. Pretty decent trade overall.
In the end here, it does leave TSM with a sizable gold lead for the early game. But again, the regeneration provided by an Ocean Drake, so good for the laning phase here. For Cloud9, they go aggressive once again.
Good body slam builds up the Aftershock though, and there's no engage on a Misty despite the stacks. Round 2 could be up. Aftershock is on cooldown for quite a while. It's more than a wave's length.
Definitely a potential now, for Greg to make his way down to the bottom side. Such incredible playmaking potential on this Gragas. You can look for lane ganks on someone like Sejuani because the Gragas can body slam flash, knock even the Leona in. Then you have never moved from this Swain. You have the follow-up ultimate from Greg. So there is a lot of potential if they want to try to attack that lane.
All lanes for Cloud9, or the side lanes at least, pushing in pretty heavily, trying to create some space. So Spenskaren does have quite a few options to work with here on the Grave. Should be able to look for some sort of invade. Golden Glue in the mid lane though, very different story. Because Bjergsen got another kill to his name and has been able to get the Sheen, you really have to respect the Aurelia burst.
It gets to the point where the Aurelia can basically just walk at you. Your only defensive ability kind of is that ultimate, and then he QSS's that, and he can just train you down with autos, despite the fact that he doesn't have a ton of damage built up. So Golden Glue is definitely just going to be trying to wave clear and waiting to play around his team with those team fights, trying to be more of that utility wave clear guy.
Knocks off the passive, but not going for much more as Bjergsen. But it gives Mithy the opportunity to find an explosive cast with that passive down.
Yeah, Greg is coming around from the bottom side, so they could try to make the call here to go for a dive.
Mithy goes back, but Greg is around, as you're saying. Can ult over the wall. He's going to be almost in range for this one.
Golden Glue has flash. We'll see how quick his reactions are.
Here comes us to C9, and they're all spotted, actually. All of them walked close enough to that control where they know it's a 4v1, so Grig's going to go for the recall, and he's not going to get found out here. Bjergsen knows to be safe. That's going to be nothing. Oh no, Grig is going to be
Needs to get out of there.
Jumps across. Mithy's here guarding. He's going to be okay. They knock down that ward.
A little game of hide and go seek.
Yeah. A quick stopwatch picked up now for Mithy. That's ticked over now. Ready for the control ward. Sneaky going to try to push him off.
And it is going to be the Stormbrazer rush here for Sneaky, so we'll be going for that AD build on Kai'Sa.
Yeah.
Not too much of a surprise, has been kind of the standard as of late. And with that double marksman is going to be a really big damage threat. I think that the frozen target here, though, from Haunter is a pretty intelligent first buy, especially when you are up against that double marksman.
Spencer's going to walk top. It is
here
through
we
a
go,
warp.
though.
They're going to go for the big play, or they go for the flash ult or anything to try to knock down Haunter. He's walking into range. There's the flash to get away. He knew it was coming.
Good flash there by Haunter. Even with a frozen heart and that amount of armor, not going to be able to survive that much damage in the gank. Now he will be flashless for the next possible fight. Top lane has been these slow increments of advantages for Cloud9, with Licorice just working away at Haunter, kind of taking away health bar chunks, taking away little cooldowns, and trying to get something for Cloud9 on the top side.
Yeah.
Hasn't really translated into anything significant yet.
Still a tied game. Gold actually identical right now. C9s to the credit do have that one Ocean Drake. They picked up something. That is, of course, itself paying forward in the CS numbers for the laning phase. So some of that actually directly tracked at his scoreboard.
Also going to be really interested to see how well Bjergsen can actually play in these team fights. The last time he was on that Aurelia, they didn't lose, but here may be the play for Mithy.
Body slam, an early flash for Sneaky to get away. Zazel from the front line. He'll be tanking for a while, but they could still burn him down. He's going to try to live. Look for the re-engage. Explosive gas dissipates, and Bjergsen staying alive through the ignite, hitting the minions. He will just stay alive, and the flash in. They found one. Grig is down, looking for the knock of his haunts, but finds nothing for it as Sven's forced to kite away.
All right, Cloud9, what can they do with this afterwards? Pushing in onto the turret. Barrel does explode on the minion wave, and TSM trying to clear it out with a lot of their abilities. With this turret being so high health as well, I don't think Cloud9 can actually do a lot of work.
Yeah, even with the Mithy and Sven not having their ultimates there, would have been such a tough dive to pull off, so they will reset. You can see Golden Glue, though, back to mid lane, pushing that out, so a good roam down from Cloud9. They do come positive on the play, but it is just the one kill and a little bit of hurt.
It was TPs traded. None of those other ones done much for. A couple of flashes extra, though, C9 did use, so slightly down in resources next time around.
Take another look here. It looked like a pretty bad corner for Cloud9. That's why Sneaky flashes so early there once you get to the other side. Zazel's a bit more tanky on the Leona. He popped his Aftershock, so he stayed in a bit, saves his fast for later. Bjergsen got extremely low. The TSM had to just retreat at this point, but you can't get away from Malzahar, and that's why Cloud9 keep bringing it. Golden Glue down the river, gets his ultimate off, and secures the kill for C9.
Taxman showed up, and Grig didn't have his QSS yet, so
Yeah.
he's going to have to take that death. And only Bjergsen so far with that QSS. Likely going to be seeing more members buy it up. And last game, even very late in the game, Grig still did not have one. You know, at a certain point, it's okay to accept that you may be that target as long as the rest of your team is there to interrupt or to follow up.
Especially since this game, they don't have a Tom Kench on their team to try and rely on a teammate to do it. You kind of have to fend for yourself. C9, though, once again, retaining control over the Dragon Pit. This will be Ocean number 2.
It's going to give C9 a lot of uptime around the map. Any fight they win, they'll be back to full HP in almost no time, and you might see them get more objectives as a result. Safer rotations, fuller health bars, fuller mana bars.
It's a lot scarier to this game for Sven, because when you are playing without a QSS and you are against this Malzahar, you know, there is the potential that a Leona stun comes in that's followed up by the Silence, followed up by the Malzahar ult, and you can theoretically die before you get that stopwatch off at all. You know, whereas in the last game with Cleanse and with that safety, it didn't feel like it was ever going to be a chance.
Bjergsen, the walls, Rep's gonna go for the ult, QSS is back down, but here comes the rest of the team. Who's gonna get more damage to this one? Stopwatch burn, oh look at the burst, it's a trait though, and now they're re-engaged, they're looking for Greg. He does not, no he does have a flash if he needs it, gets away, stays alive, Licorice is here.
Yep, and the rest of Cloud9 have also joined in the mid lane. They can push on this turret. Sneaky and Zazel head up.
Turret taking damage down to the last few minions though. They're gonna let the tanks hit the turret shots, or an ult coming down, looking for the re-engage. They'll burn down the turret first, and the knockup will hit onto 3, but no one is here to take any damage. C9 grab their first turret of the game in mid lane.
Really nicely done there by C9. You know, Licorice comes down, they go 1-for-1 in the 2v2, but Licorice shows up first. They use that for the turret pressure, and they are now up in the gold. Here it is once more. Bjergsen does have the QSS. Svenskeren is lying in wait, and is gonna start out this fight.
Bjergsen gets off the Malzahar ultimate with the ult of his own. QSS is that ult, but Svenskeren, when he dashes up, he got disarmed for a second by going through Bjergsen's ultimate. So they go down at the exact same time, 1-for-1. Still though, Licorice, the earlier roam, forces the flash out of Grig, allows him to get that turret.
And he's behind him, and T9 is actually roaming up. Surprise, it's a Poppy in the bush, but
Assassin Poppy from Licorice.
Yeah, that Bomby Cinder, so much damage.
no Triforce yet.
He'll get there eventually. That's the right build, obviously. Either way, mid lane getting cleared, no problem now. Golden Glue having a pretty decent game as far as farm is concerned. Bjergsen has hit his power spike of Trinity Force, got that fairly recently, but has yet to find those kills with the item.
You can see on the player cameras how intense these guys are. The Game 5 pressure is fully in effect, and Cloud9 are getting hyped off of the lead they started to open up here with that first turret kind of opening up the map. Mid turret is so critical, allowing them to now get some of these deep wards you can see in the jungle.
And it's really a lot of pressure on Bjergsen here also, starting with 2 early kills on the Aurelia. He's on this aggressive pick that he's been so good on. He needs to have a big impact on this game. If you're not effective on the Aurelia in this one, that's it. You're going home. You're not going to be playing in the finals. And he's had the opportunities.
Yeah, Sven did not get 4 kills so early on in this game that he can output the same kind of damage on Swain as he did previously. So they are going to have to focus their efforts. I think you had a good point with the Gragas ultimate as well. There's so much variance in that champion and in the possible plays you can pull off.
All that time spent for Herald gave C9 a lot of time in the bottom lane. They knocked down bot out of it, hitting 2-2 right now, and Golden Glue waiting in the fog of war. Mid the overextends. He will instantly die to the Mal's ult, but it's Bjergsen who goes for it. He's got QSS, he's safe.
I think he's at a half.
Yeah, I mean, he's playing the AP style build, right? This could be something like a Knight's Vow. It also could be Proto Belt. I've seen that fairly regularly on support Gragas if they really want to all in on the playmaking. But again, then you have to be flawless with your engages. You have to be flawless with how you're playing these team fights, or you just get straight up insta-kill.
Licorice wearing down the top lane, now being answered by Sven, but gets a tackle and quite a bit of damage. And Licorice is already building magic to this. Oftentimes you see these plays. Hold on, we've got to fight towards the mid lane. A ult towards Golden Glue. Knocks off his passive. Maybe
He's
where
gotta
they
get
trade.
out of there, though.
Bjergsen can
Bjergsen.
flash for stuns.
He could all flash here.
Gonna get a speed off the Shrine.
Golden Glue can flash for disengage, and no one will find him. Out he goes. That is a big cooldown now missing.
Golden Glue, it looked like he was playing with fire there, walking back into a dangerous spot, but he draws 4 members of TSM, uses their time, while his bottom lane takes a turret uncontested.
3 turrets to 0
It's
now.
4. Oh no, Licorice has to walk away. The turret will fall first, and there is no engage. This gold lead, 4,500 gold now.
Sneaky is getting dangerously close to this Rage Blade here. Only needs a couple hundred more gold, and he will be off to the races on this late game teamfight carry. Already has his support items purchased up here. We have the Zeke's Convergence done as well. He's going to be a monster if they can't get to him.
TSM have their eyes on Sneaky, looking to lock him down with some of that crowd control. They have it all over. Every single champion will be able to lock somebody up in the team fight.
Yeah.
They won't have a Rage Blade hyper carry for themselves later in the game, though. So they need to focus on the next 10 minutes here. This will be very critical in the success of this composition.
And I'm really curious to see how Licorice in particular will play these team fights. Do you sit on your hyper carry Kaisa and try to use that steadfast presence to protect him from dive? Or are you diving deep and trying to, draw pressure to yourselves and create space that way? I think there's going to be some big choices here from in these fights.
Well, there's not really anyone for him to dive into. Most of TSM are frontline champions, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you can dive to find Mythy. The AP Gragas might be the squishiest guy.
And of course, keep in mind, plenty of stopwatches on TSM right now. Both the bottom laners have it. And the QSS, of course, makes Aurelia a hard target as well, as Orin, of course, the primary tank. We'll wait to see what happens, though, as we've got this battle now, 3v1. Licorice hoping to find a way out of this one. Jumps towards the Drake, can't get the ult going anywhere. He's going to try to flash the wall and does so. There will not be a follow, only an ult coming across, as Greg might try to chase in, but no, he's going to stay alive. Meanwhile, Sven being chased out by Sven Skarin.
Here comes Malzahar.
Comes the knockover, though. Great blast code. The flash ult's going to land. They might just have the damage, and they will. A kill traded for Ocean Drake as TSM picks that up.
The Predator finds his prey, and Golden Glue locks him up for the kill. Cloud9 now can push on the top side. They've got minions to work with.
This turret is theirs with the Voidling's double marksman. That's going to get knocked down so fast. They're actually pinging onto the inhibitor turret here. They want to keep the push.
They had time to go. TSM summoned the Herald for mid lane that canceled some of this, but Poppy's going to defend that one. They're going now for the inhibitor turret, down below 2/3, down below 1/3. Do they stay, though, because Aurelia is here? They might have to let it regen. It's at 5 HP. It will fall to minion damage. No open inhib in the top lane, but Greg is coming.
Sejuani is ready, does have access to the ultimate.
Here's the TP, and Poppy is far away. They're both going to TP to join. Here comes the fight, 5v5. Is this the one that ends it all? Greg getting away, burning down, trying to stay alive. 2 for 0, Cloud9, and they can chase to the open inhib. And 0-4 for Sneaky. They get Bjergsen. It's a 3 for 0.
They have the minions. They can end the game. I think C9 have done it. They are going to go to the finals.
Put the subs, make it a 2-0 to close out the series. A very small wave in front of the Nexus. The Gragas will separate, going for turret number 1. Sven and Mythy must defend against Cloud9 as the second turret falls. The respawn's in 15 seconds, and they've done it. Sven Skarin and Golden Glue completed. It's the 3-2 victory for Cloud9.
Can you believe it? The miracle has been completed.
Cloud9 from last place to the finals in summer of 2018.
They break their streak of being knocked out by TSM. 5 BO5s in a row. Black and Blue has lost to Black and White. TSM, for the second time ever, are denied the finals, this time by their oldest nemesis in Cloud9.
And what a wild ride it has been for this team. 7 players utilized in this semifinal matchup. Even more over the course of summer.